this week we're going to talk about the thing itself, but the question comes up sometimes is why do we even look at this? Why is there a science of mind? Why does it matter? And for that, I had a good example of that over Christmas, and I want to tell you about it. So, as many of you know, I'm an avid runner, and I've been running for around 15 years or so. And it was introduced to me by a friend. I didn't have a lot of faith in my ability to do it or to learn how to do it, but I forged ahead. And I had weighed, at the time that I started, I weighed over 300 pounds. And through running, because it kind of caught on with me through running, I wound up losing over 100 pounds. So I have a very special relationship with running. And when I first started out, it was all about collecting data, knowing how fast you're going, knowing your heart rate, and knowing all of these things, and really fine tuning the runs to get the most out of them. Well, I did that for a lot of years, and I raced and participated in races. I won one race, but I participated in a lot of races and had a great time. And eventually, I stumbled upon this article in a running magazine that talked about free running. And this was the concept of taking out a run out of your regimen for the week, taking one run out where you don't record anything. You don't take any of your equipment with you, and you just go out and you just run for the pure pleasure of running. And so I was like, okay, this is cool. I gave it a shot. I went out and I didn't record anything. I just went right out and I just ran. And it was terrific. I had a wonderful time. And I thought, well, why don't I just do it like this for a while? Well, fast forward, now I've been doing it for several years of this free running, and I do it on every run. So I'm not taking any equipment with me at any time. I'm just always just going out, just running for however far I want to run. I do know how far I'm running, and run for however far and come back and go on with my day. And it was tremendously freeing early on. And I liked it because I didn't have to carry around. Back in the day, you had to carry around a strap around your chest, and you had to put something in your shoe, and you had to have a special watch, and everything had to be hooked up to your phone. And then it was very cumbersome to have to set all this stuff up to run. Well, now technology has advanced. Pretty much all of that stuff that I used all my contraptions for, I can get done with a simple watch. I don't even have to take my phone with me. And the price on the technology has come way down. So I thought, well, why don't I just start looking into what I'm doing on my runs again? And so I asked Santa Claus for a new running watch that did all of these things. And Santa came through. I had it under the tree. And so I got it, I opened it up, and I put it on, and I started using it. I've been using it ever since Christmas. And a very strange thing happened when I started using my little running watch. I noticed that I could be working a lot harder on my runs. I have suspected that I wasn't putting enough effort. I wasn't putting as much effort into the run as I could. I wasn't running as far as I could. I wasn't running as fast as I could. I just had this kind of free running attitude. It's like, just go out there and do it, and laissez-faire. And I knew that I had more to give, but until I saw the proof there right before my eyes in the form of all of these numbers that I'm getting from my watch, I could ignore the extra effort that I was leaving behind. But now I got it in black and white, and I'm seeing, oh, geez, Dave, you could be doing more. And realizing that I could do more actually made me want to do more. I started forming goals. I started thinking, well, you know, if I ran a little bit farther, if I ran a little bit harder, you know, see, I was getting so much information from this watch. I could get my speed, I could get my distance, I could know exactly where I ran, I could get my elevation change. If I happen to go up a hill or something, I get that. I get my heart rate, I get my amount of effort. It's telling me everything that I need to know, maybe a little bit too much information, but it was giving me tons of information. So my subsequent runs, I started running with a little bit more intention. I started thinking about the data that I'm getting, and I started to look forward to that data, and I started to look forward to seeing how I'm improving over time. I started to use more of what I had and accomplish things that I didn't think about before. I wasn't trying to add on any distance before. I was free running. You know, it was accomplishment just getting out there, finishing the run and coming back home. I didn't care about anything else. But now I started to dream. I started to plan. I started to act consciously rather than just taking my energy and spurting it out all over the place and not caring what I was doing with it. Okay, it's all well and good to do that, but that's what we're doing when we're studying the science of mind. We're not only just going out there shooting off our energy in any direction, we're discovering the result of that. We're discovering our connection to our energy and into what we want to bring into our lives. I have done a lot of free running in my life. Even before I was a runner, I would just spend energy ignorantly and I would get varied results. You know, sometimes I'd improve, sometimes you win some, you lose some, sometimes you achieve, sometimes you don't, you never know. And I thought that I didn't have too much more control over it rather than just spurting my energy out there. I think we're all capable in different areas of our life of just free running. But it's amazing, when I discovered science of mind for myself, I discovered the areas where I had been free running, and finding out that I had more power and control over my mind and my thoughts and what I manifest, it caused me to create goals in my life, to see possibilities that I didn't see before. And the only reason I could do that was because I knew more about what I could do. I was getting more information. Just like out on my GPS watch is telling me, Dave, you could do so much more than what you're doing now, with a little bit of focus, with a little bit of intention. And that's the idea I want to convey to you, is that you can be doing more. We go through life and we have a lot of achievements. We set goals, we do a lot of things, we achieve a lot of things in our life. But no matter what we've achieved, we can always do more. We're never done until we're done. So no matter where you are on life's journey, finding out more about your potential can lead to achieving more things in your life, can lead to you striving to meet that potential. But first, we have to look. We have to look at what that potential is. And that's what Science of Mind is. And that's what we're doing all this month, is just looking at what kind of power are we dealing with? And we start with the thing itself. And you may remember from the sacred reading, and I love this line that describes what the thing itself is. So I'm just going to reread this from the sacred reading. The study of the science of mind is a study of first cause, spirit, mind, or that invisible essence, that ultimate stuff and intelligence from which everything comes, the power back of creation, the thing itself. And before you begin on any endeavor in your life, it's always good to know the source of your power. How are you going to have the energy to do this? Where is it going to come from? If you're going shopping, well, you got to know how much money you've got. If you're going driving, you need to know where the gas stations are and how much gas you have access to. That'll tell you how far you can go. If you're eating, you need to know where you can go to eat. You need to know where the supermarket is so you can buy food. If you're creating, you need to know the source of your creative energy. Where is that coming from? Do you have to reserve it? Do you have to save it? Is your source finite? Any other examples in shopping and driving and eating? We got a finite source. In our creative endeavors, our source is infinite. It's infinitely available, eternally accessible. Abundance. So that is what we're dealing with when we are making plans to make changes in our life. We're not dealing with a power that is spotty. This is a power that's always on. So as we're reading through that first chapter of the thing itself, there's a few things that pop out, a few points that pop out that I want to mention and give you something to think about as you're thinking about what are we going to do with this new year. And I don't know how you feel about New Year's resolutions. I've always been kind of like this on them because every day is new. Every moment is new. Every moment is a moment that has never happened before in time. And we're here and we can make new resolutions all the time. But yesterday was New Year's Day. And it's a day that our entire race consciousness is pointed towards new beginnings, towards making these resolutions. And we can use that consciousness to put a little more oomph behind the initiatives that we set in our lives. So let's use it. We can use anything as an energy source. Let's use the new year. So as we're making plans for the new year, what are some things that we need to know about the thing itself? Our power, our source, our mind, our consciousness. What do we need to know? So thing number one to know is that there's no hocus pocus. There is no magical incantation. There is no magic wand that we have to wave. It's not supernatural. It's not mysterious. It just is. Plain and simple. And the mantra to remember here is that eternal power has no reason to hide. Eternal power has no reason to hide. And we're used to seeing like Indiana Jones, you got this rare object that's in a tomb and it's protected by all these bows and arrows and traps, and you got to go through all of this stuff in order to get that gem. That's kind of our journey of life. We feel like we got to dodge all these arrows and do all these things to get that precious object that we want. This precious object is already yours. It's already yours. You just have to know that it's yours, and then you can start using it. So no hocus pocus, no supernatural. It just is. It's there and eternally available. Number two, the thing itself is always on. It's always listening and responding to our thoughts and beliefs. The principle to remember here is that eternal power has no reason to shut off. Don't think of power in our conventional human way. Humans have to conserve power. Humans have to ration. Humans can run out of things. We're not dealing with human power. We're not dealing with human things. We're dealing with God power. God power, eternal, infinite, everlasting. The power of God is always present and always available to us. So it's never off. God is never saying, no, I refuse to support that endeavor. God is not refusing anyone of anything. It's up to us to refine how we use it. So when thinking about the thing itself, know that it's always there. So, and remember that principle, the eternal power has no reason to shut off. And number 3, and this is probably most important, is that equity for all, equanimity for all, equal access, equal response, equal love for everyone. God plays no favorites. The principle to grasp here is that eternal power has no reason to say no. God isn't thinking through all of your situations, trying to figure out, well, should I support you or shouldn't I, or what should, no, God doesn't have to make these kinds of calculations. That is the beauty of eternal power. It's on, no calculations have to be made. It is a never-ending stream, and we have to but dip our cups in, or dip your bucket in, or dip your tank in, and it will keep flowing and flowing and flowing. Good energy, power. We can never deplete the power of the universe that we call on. So we'll never run out of power. We will never run out of potential. There will always be more that we can do, that we can see, that we can accomplish. So those are the main things about the thing itself that I want to leave you with today. And it's those 3 principles. Eternal power. Eternal power has no reason to hide. Eternal power has no reason to shut off. And eternal power has no reason to say no. So that brings us now to our homework. And I want to ask you to ask yourself, to look at your life, look at the different sections of your life and ask yourself, are you doing any free running? Are you just kind of blasting out your energy, just kind of scattered and just kind of hoping for the best? And it may not be just with life overall. It may be just in a part of life, in a part of your life where your energy is scattered and you're not getting what you want, but you're not really focusing on what you want. Please know and detect why this may be. Are you afraid of setting goals? Or what do you think might happen if you get your heart's desire? What do you think might happen with your energy level, with how you feel about yourself? Examine where you want to go in life and ask yourself, are you putting your energy in that direction? Because wherever you put your energy, God's just going to give you more. So God isn't focusing you. You are focusing you. So after you ask yourself about that, and if you find some areas in your life where you are doing some free running, where there's a little bit more of you that you could be putting in there, where there's a little bit more effort that you could be doing, once you find that, first, know that your access to source can't be severed in any way. And know that you have as much power as you need to have to do exactly what you want to do. Set a goal and chart your progress. Set a goal and chart your progress. Not just dream about a goal, actually set one. And this is a big one for me. When I think about setting goals for myself, I get nervous, intense. I might not do it. I might fail. I'm going to fail. I did not. I start getting really tense on inside. And this is me. This is after uh, learning all of this about science of mind. I still have that consciousness within me that, oh, no, I can't. And it's probably something that I'll have to fight for the rest of my life, that I'll have to not fight, because there's nothing to fight in me. I don't need to fight anything inside it. I need to learn how to communicate with it, how to understand it. I need to learn how to convince myself that, yes, there is an eternal power for good, and it is within me, and I do have access to it. And it's a practice. We always have to remind ourselves. So I have to remind myself. You may have to remind yourself. So be bold. Set that goal. And know that as you do, you can achieve it. Know that. Know that there is no force in the world preventing you from achieving your goal. Because there's no force in the universe that is bigger than your source. It's like having that big brother. I don't know if you went to school and had a big brother with you, but I would always envy those guys that had a big brother and they could do whatever they wanted to in the schoolyard. They could piss off whoever they wanted to. And as soon as they did, as soon as somebody said something against them, they call on their big brother and their big brother comes. You have that big brother. You have that big sister. You have that help that will come and rise to the occasion the instant you call upon it. And it will be there for you, nurturing you, supporting you, loving you, guiding you. Oh, what can't you do with the love and support of the universe? So after you set a goal, after you write this goal down and you say, this is what I intend to do, and it's very powerful. This is what I believe about myself. I believe I will do this. This is my goal. This is what I want. This is how I know it will be done. Take that goal into your meditation and meditate on your unlimited potential and your unbreakable source to spirit. Take any doubt that you may have of any resistance that you may incur, and know the truth that that resistance is nothing compared to your source. Resistance is nothing compared to your source. And know that if more energy is needed, if more wisdom is needed, if more principles of God are needed in your life, they will rise up and be there for you. Believe this. And as you make your way towards your goal, consciously, intentionally, note how spirit rises to meet you. Note how you're assisted. Note how you're guided. And record all of this. Record all of this. Write all of this down in the same place you wrote your goal. When things happen when the universe moves and acts to bring things into your life to make that goal accessible for you, write those down. Make note of those. God is always helping. As soon as we set the intention, as soon as we set the knowing, God starts working. So it won't be long before you just start writing things down about how manifestations are happening in your life around this goal. So let's give this a shot. And let's just give it a shot for all of January. Okay, that's not a big deal. Just January. After January, you can go back to, creating the way you used to create. But for all of January, let's see what kind of movement we can make on our goals consciously, knowing that God is at our backs. And it is fun to free run. I got a great deal of enjoyment out of it for many years, but it is also fun to use that alchemy of love and law to just create something in your life, to set the intention to materialize a feeling, an object, a goal, and to exercise your birthright to make that goal happen. It's a wonderful thing. So let's try this for January. Set a goal. And as we go through these weeks, learning more about our power, the thing itself, what it does, how it works, how to use it, let's take these things each week and apply them to our goal. We've got some great speakers this month. Reverend Mignon is back. Reverend Debbie Putnam is back next week. Reverend Mignon is back the week after that to talk about some of these divine principles. And we're just going to have a good time. And we are creating, and we are going to together create something as a center. And I'm just excited to get started on this. So that is it. And I just want to leave you with these three principles. Eternal power has no reason to hide. Eternal power has no reason to shut off. And eternal power has no reason to say no. So embrace the yes. Set your goal. Know your source. And let's see what we can create.